The October wind swept through Millbrook, Indiana, carrying with it the scent of dried leaves and the promise of an early winter. Tyler Bennett stood at the edge of the parking lot of Rick's Gas and Go, his small hands gripping the handlebars of his blue bicycle. His heart hammered against his ribcage as he watched the row of motorcycles lined up near the entrance, their chrome details gleaming under the afternoon sun. The boy was 9 years old, with sandy brown hair that fell into his eyes and a smattering of freckles across his nose. His jeans were worn at the knees, and his jacket, 2 sizes too big, had belonged to his father before the accident 3 years ago. Tyler had learned early that life didn't always go according to plan, but nothing had prepared him for the news Dr. Patricia Walsh had delivered 2 months ago. Stage 4, pancreatic cancer, 6 months, maybe less. His mother, Jennifer Bennett, had tried to stay strong. She worked double shifts at Henderson's Diner on Main Street, her blonde hair always tied back in a neat ponytail, her smile never quite reaching her eyes anymore. The medical bills piled up on their kitchen table like accusatory monuments to their helplessness. The insurance covered some, but not enough. Never enough. The experimental treatment Dr. Walsh suggested might buy more time, but it cost more than they made in a year. Tyler had heard his mother crying in the bathroom late at night when she thought he was asleep. He'd seen the way she looked at the old photo album, her fingers tracing the pictures from their trip to Lake Michigan 5 years ago, back when Dad was alive, back when they were a complete family. She'd told him once, in a moment of weakness, that her only wish was to take one last trip with him, to make memories that would last him a lifetime. That's when Tyler had formed his plan. He'd been walking home from Millbrook Elementary School 3 days ago when he'd seen them. A group of motorcyclists stopped at the intersection of Maple and 5th. They wore black leather vests with patches, their bikes rumbling like controlled thunder. Most people in town gave them a wide berth, whispering about motorcycle gangs and trouble. But Tyler had noticed something different. One of the bikers had helped an elderly woman, Mrs. Patterson, cross the street with her groceries. Another had picked up a child's dropped toy and returned it with a smile. Tyler had followed them at a distance, his curiosity overcoming his fear. They'd ended up here, at Rick's, like they did every Tuesday afternoon according to what he'd learned from careful observation. He'd spent the last 3 days building up his courage, planning what he would say, figuring out what he could offer. Now, standing in the cooling October air, Tyler wondered if he was making a terrible mistake. "You gonna stand there all day, kid? Or you gonna come over?" The voice made Tyler jump. He looked up to see a tall man approaching, probably in his late 40s, with close-cropped grey hair and a weathered face that spoke of years spent in the sun and wind. He wore a black leather vest over a white t-shirt, and patches decorated the vest. An American flag, a skull with wings, words Tyler couldn't quite read from this distance. But it was the man's eyes that caught Tyler's attention. Dark brown, sharp, but not unkind. I'm sorry, sir," Tyler stammered, taking an involuntary step backward. "I didn't mean to—" "Relax." The man held up a hand, his expression softening slightly. "Name's Daniel Morrison. Most folks call me Danny. I've noticed you watching us the past few days. You a motorcycle enthusiast, or should I be concerned?" Tyler's face flushed red. He hadn't realized he'd been that obvious. I need to ask you something, all of you. It's important." Danny studied the boy for a long moment, then turned toward the gas station. "Hey crew, we got a visitor." 5 more bikers emerged from inside Rick's, carrying coffee cups and snacks. Tyler's eyes widened as he took them in. There was a heavy-set man with a thick black beard, a woman with short red hair and tattoos snaking up her arms, a thin man with glasses who looked more like a teacher than a biker, a younger guy who couldn't be more than 25 with a bright smile, and an older man who moved with a slight limp. "What's this about, Danny?" the bearded man asked, his voice deep and rumbling. "Kid says he needs to ask us something important." Danny gestured toward Tyler. "Come on, son. We don't bite. Well, most of us don't. The younger biker laughed. Speak for yourself, boss. Tyler took a deep breath, summoning every ounce of courage he possessed. His mother had always taught him to be polite, to show respect, to never ask for handouts. But this wasn't about pride anymore. This was about time his mother didn't have. My name is Tyler Bennett, he began, his voice shaking slightly. My mom, she's dying. Cancer. The doctors say she has maybe 6 months, but probably less. She works really hard, 2 jobs, but we can't afford the treatment that might help. And she has this dream. This one last thing she wants to do. The bikers had gone quiet, their casual demeanor shifting to something more attentive. The woman with red hair set down her coffee cup, her expression serious. Go on, Danny encouraged gently. She wants to take me on a trip to the places she used to go with my dad before he died. Lake Michigan, the Indiana dunes, maybe even Chicago. She wants to make memories with me before... Tyler's voice cracked, and he swallowed hard, refusing to cry in front of these strangers. Before she can't anymore, but we can't afford it. We can barely afford food and rent and the medical bills that keep coming. He hurried to his bicycle and detached the small wagon he'd been pulling behind it. Inside were his most precious possessions. His PlayStation console, his collection of comic books, his father's old watch that he'd been saving for when he was older, his bicycle, and even his winter coat. I have all this, Tyler said, his words tumbling out in a rush. I know it's not much, but it's everything I have. My bike is almost new. I got it last Christmas. The PlayStation works perfectly. The watch was my dad's, and it's real nice. I thought, maybe you could sell this stuff. And with the money, you could help us, help my mom. I don't need any of it. I just need her to have this one thing before... He couldn't finish the sentence. The silence that followed was deafening. Tyler kept his eyes fixed on the ground, his face burning with embarrassment and desperation. He'd done it. He'd made his offer. Now they would probably laugh at him, tell him to go home, maybe even call him foolish for approaching strangers with such a ridiculous request. But the laughter never came. Jesus Christ, the bearded man muttered, his voice rough with emotion. Danny Morrison crouched down to Tyler's level, his knees creaking slightly. Up close, Tyler could see the lines around the man's eyes, the small scar on his left cheek, the way his jaw tightened as he processed what he'd just heard. Tyler, Danny said quietly, how old are you? 9, I'll be 10 in December. And you came here by yourself to ask a bunch of bikers you don't know for help? Tyler nodded, finally meeting Danny's eyes. You're the only people I could think of. Nobody else in town has enough money to help, and I've seen you. You helped Mrs. Patterson last week. You helped that kid who dropped his toy. You're not bad people. At least, I don't think you are. Danny was quiet for a moment. Then he stood up, his expression unreadable. He turned to his crew, and Tyler saw something pass between them. A look, an understanding that required no words. Pack up, Danny said firmly. We're heading to the clubhouse. And Tyler, he looked back at the boy, you're coming with us. We need to have a proper conversation about this. Tyler's heart soared with hope, even as a small voice of caution whispered in his mind. Does that mean you'll help? It means we're not having this conversation in a gas station parking lot, Danny replied. Grab your wagon, actually leave it. Thomas, can you put the kids' stuff in your saddlebag for now? The thin man with glasses nodded. On it. Wait, Tyler said, confusion and concern flooding through him. Are you taking my things? I thought... We're not taking anything, kid, the woman with red hair interjected. Her voice was kind but firm. I'm Christine Walker, by the way. We're just transporting them safely. You'll get everything back. But Danny's right. We need to talk properly, and we need to figure some things out. The younger biker approached with his hand extended. Name's Jake Patterson. Don't worry, Tyler. You did something really brave today. We're going to figure this out. Tyler shook his hand, still uncertain, but feeling the first real flutter of hope he'd experienced in weeks. The older man with the limp walked over and ruffled Tyler's hair gently. "Robert Hayes," he introduced himself, "retired Army. I've got a grandson about your age. What you did today took guts, kid. Real guts." The bearded man was last. "Vincent Russo. You can call me Vinny. Everyone does." He paused, seeming to struggle with his words. "My sister died of cancer 4 years ago, left behind 2 kids. So I get it, Tyler. I get what you're trying to do." Danny pulled out his cell phone. "Tyler, I need your mom's phone number. We need to let her know you're with us and that you're safe. She's probably worried sick if you're not home yet." Tyler rattled off the number and Danny dialed. After a few rings, a woman's voice answered, tense and worried. "Mrs. Bennett, my name is Daniel Morrison. I'm calling about your son Tyler. He's safe and with me and my motorcycle club at Rick's gas station on Route 36. No, ma'am, he's not in any trouble. Actually, he came to us. He needs to tell you himself, but I wanted you to know he's okay. Yes, ma'am, we're taking him to our clubhouse on Sawyer Street. It's the building with the blue door next to O'Connor's Hardware. You're welcome to meet us there." "I understand. We'll wait for you." Danny hung up and looked at Tyler. "Your mum's on her way. She finishes her shift at the diner in 15 minutes. We'll head to the clubhouse and she can meet us there." "Is she mad?" Tyler asked nervously. "She's worried," Danny corrected. "There's a difference. Come on, kid. Ever ridden on a motorcycle before?" Tyler's eyes widened. "No, sir." "Well, there's a first time for everything. You'll ride with me. Christine, call ahead and tell the others we're bringing a guest. This is going to be a club matter." As Tyler climbed onto the back of Danny Morrison's motorcycle, his small hands gripping the back of the seat, he felt the rumble of the engine beneath him. The other bikers mounted their own machines, the sound multiplying into a powerful chorus. Despite his fear, despite the uncertainty, Tyler felt something he hadn't felt in a long time. He felt like maybe, just maybe, someone was actually listening. The motorcycles pulled out of the parking lot in formation, heading towards Sawyer Street with Tyler holding on tight, the wind whipping past his face, carrying with it the first seeds of possibility. The Iron Riders Motorcycle Club clubhouse wasn't what Tyler had expected. From the outside, it looked like an old warehouse with faded brick walls and a simple blue door. But inside, it was warm and surprisingly welcoming. The main room had mismatched furniture, a pool table in one corner, a small bar area with a coffee maker and a mini fridge, and walls covered with photographs, pictures of rides, charity events, members with their families, and memorial plaques for those who had passed away. Tyler sat on an old leather couch that had definitely seen better days, his feet barely touching the floor. Around him, the Iron Riders were gathering. He'd counted 14 members so far, ranging from people in their 20s to one man who looked to be in his 70s. They weren't all what he'd imagined bikers to look like. There was a woman in nurse's scrubs who'd apparently come straight from her shift at the hospital, a man in business casual clothing who worked at the local bank, and even a young woman covered in tattoos who Danny introduced as a veterinary technician. Danny stood at the front of the room, his arms crossed, waiting for everyone to settle down. Thomas, the thin man with glasses, had set Tyler's wagon of belongings in the corner, handled with care. "All right, everyone, listen up," Danny began, his voice carrying authority that demanded attention. "This is Tyler Bennett. He's 9 years old, and today he did something that I haven't seen in my 20 years with this club. He came to us alone and asked for our help." Danny proceeded to explain Tyler's situation, and Tyler watched as the faces around the room shifted from curious to somber to determined. When Danny mentioned the wagon full of Tyler's possessions, more than one person wiped at their eyes. "The kid was ready to give up everything he owns," Danny continued. "His PlayStation, his bike, his father's watch, everything. For his mom, Jennifer Bennett. Some of you might know her. She works at Henderson's Diner. I know Jenny, said a woman with grey streaked hair pulled back in a braid. She wore a leather vest similar to Danny's. She's waited on me plenty of times. Sweet woman. Always has a kind word, even when she's clearly exhausted. I had no idea she was sick. Most people don't, Danny replied. She's been trying to handle it privately, probably out of pride or not wanting to be a burden. But the situation is serious. Stage 4 pancreatic cancer, limited time. And this kid, he gestured to Tyler, wants to give her one last happy memory before time runs out. The room was silent for a moment, the weight of the situation settling over everyone. So what are we going to do about it? Asked Jake, the younger biker who'd been kind to Tyler at the gas station. That's why I called this meeting, Danny said. The Iron Riders have always been about more than just motorcycles. We're about community, family, and helping those who can't help themselves. This kid showed more courage today than most adults show in a lifetime. I think we owe it to him and his mother to step up. Agreed, said Vinny, the bearded man. The question is how? What exactly does the family need? Before Danny could answer, the blue door opened and Jennifer Bennett rushed in, her face flushed and her eyes wide with worry. She wore her diner uniform, a simple pink dress with a white apron, and her blonde hair was disheveled as if she'd run the entire way. Tyler! She rushed to her son and pulled him into a fierce hug. Are you okay? What were you thinking going off like that? I was so scared when Mr. Morrison called. I'm sorry, Mom, Tyler mumbled into her shoulder. I had to do something. Jennifer pulled back, her hands on Tyler's shoulders, her eyes searching his face for any sign of harm. Then she looked up at the assembled bikers, her expression a mixture of gratitude and apprehension. I'm so sorry if my son bothered you all, she said quickly. He shouldn't have approached you. He shouldn't have asked. Mrs. Bennett, Danny interrupted gently, stepping forward. Tyler didn't do anything wrong. In fact, he did something incredibly brave. Please sit down. We'd like to talk to you. Jennifer hesitated, then slowly sat on the couch next to Tyler, keeping one arm around him protectively. The room remained quiet, respectful, giving her a moment to collect herself. Christine Walker brought over a bottle of water and handed it to Jennifer. It's okay, she said softly. We're not upset. We're actually honored that Tyler thought to ask us for help. Danny pulled up a chair and sat across from Jennifer, his elbows resting on his knees, his expression serious but kind. Mrs. Bennett, Tyler told us about your diagnosis. I'm truly sorry. He also told us about your dream, to take one last trip with your son, to visit the places that meant something to you and your late husband. Jennifer's eyes filled with tears. He shouldn't have told you that. That's our private. He told us because he loves you, Danny said simply, and because he's desperate to make you happy in whatever time you have left. He offered us everything he owns in exchange for help. Jennifer looked at the wagon in the corner, recognition dawning on her face. Tyler, no, you didn't. I had to, Mom. Tyler's voice cracked with emotion. You're always sad now, and you never do anything for yourself. You just work and worry and pretend everything's okay when it's not. Dad would have wanted you to be happy. He would have wanted us to have this. The tears Jennifer had been holding back finally spilled over. She pulled Tyler close again, her body shaking with silent sobs. The Iron Riders watched, several of them visibly moved by the scene before them. After a moment, Danny spoke again, his voice gentle but firm. Mrs. Bennett, we'd like to help. The Iron Riders have organized charity events before, fundraisers for veterans, families in need, disaster relief. We have the resources, the connections, and the willingness to do something for you and Tyler. But we need your permission. We need you to let us in. Jennifer looked up, her face wet with tears. I can't ask you to do that. I don't even know you. Why would you want to help us? Because that's what we do, said Robert Hayes, the older man with the limp. I'm a veteran, Mrs. Bennett. When I came back from Afghanistan, I had nothing. No job, no home, struggling with PTSD. This club helped me get back on my feet. They didn't ask for anything in return. They just helped because that's who they are. Now it's our turn to help someone else. We all have our stories, added the woman with the braid, who introduced herself as Margaret Chen. I lost my husband to a drunk driver 5 years ago, left me with 2 teenagers and a mountain of debt. The club organized a fundraiser that kept us from losing our house. I'm still paying it forward. Vinny leaned forward. My sister, like I told Tyler, died of cancer. I watched her fight, watched her struggle, watched her worry more about her kids than herself, right up until the end. I couldn't help her then, but maybe I can help you now. Jennifer looked around the room, seeing not the stereotypical bikers she'd expected, but ordinary people who'd come together for extraordinary reasons. Bank employees and nurses, teachers and mechanics, young and old, all united by a common bond and a desire to make a difference. I don't understand, she whispered. Why us? There are so many people who need help. Because Tyler walked up to us and asked, Danny said simply. Because in a world where most people are too proud or too scared to reach out, a 9-year-old boy found the courage to try. That means something, Mrs. Bennett. That means a lot. Jennifer was quiet for a long moment, wrestling with her pride, her fear, her desperate hope. Finally, she spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. What would you do? How would you help? Danny stood up and began pacing, his mind clearly working through logistics. First, we organize a fundraiser. We've done this before, a charity motorcycle ride. Participants pay an entry fee. We line up sponsors. We get local businesses involved. We can pull it together in 2 weeks if we work fast. The funds raised would go toward 3 things: your medical expenses, living costs to ease the financial burden, and the trip you want to take with Tyler. 2 weeks. Jennifer looked skeptical. That seems impossible. You'd be surprised what this community can do when properly motivated, said the man in business casual clothing. I'm Derek Williams, by the way. I work at First National Bank. I can help set up a legitimate fund, make sure everything's transparent and legal. We'll create a dedicated account for your family. The veterinary technician with tattoos spoke up. I'm Amanda Rodriguez. I've got connections with the local radio station and newspaper. We can get the word out fast. Human interest stories like this, they resonate with people. I can reach out to Henderson's Diner and other local businesses for sponsorships, added Margaret. Get them to donate items for a raffle, contribute funds, maybe even match donations. The hospital where I work has a cancer support network, the nurse said. Her name was Helen Foster. I can connect you with resources, financial assistance programs, maybe even get some of your medical bills reviewed. Sometimes there are charges that can be adjusted or assistance programs people don't know about. Tyler watched in amazement as the Iron Riders mobilized around his family's crisis like a well-oiled machine. Ideas flew back and forth. People volunteered for different tasks, and Danny coordinated it all with the skill of someone who'd done this before. Jennifer seemed overwhelmed, tears still streaming down her face, but something had shifted in her expression. The hopelessness that had shadowed her features was beginning to lift, replaced by tentative, fragile hope. I don't know what to say, she managed. Thank you doesn't seem like enough. Then don't say anything yet, Danny replied with a small smile. Save your thanks for when we actually pull this off. Right now, we need information. Tyler mentioned Lake Michigan, Indiana Dunes, and Chicago. Are there specific places you want to visit? Activities you want to do? Jennifer took a shaky breath, then nodded. My husband, David, he proposed to me at Indiana Dunes. We used to camp there every summer before Tyler was born. And Chicago, we went there for our honeymoon. Nothing fancy, just the Art Institute Navy Pier deep dish pizza at this little place in Lincoln Park. Simple things, but they were our things. I want Tyler to see those places, to hear the stories, to know who his father was beyond what he can remember. Then that's what we'll make happen, Danny said with conviction. How are you feeling physically? Would you be able to travel? Jennifer hesitated. I have good days and bad days. The medication helps with the pain, but I get tired easily. Dr. Walsh said I should do the things I want to do while I still can. She was supportive of the trip idea when I mentioned it, even though I knew we couldn't afford it. We'll plan for that, Helen, the nurse interjected. Make sure you have all your medications, plan for rest stops, keep the itinerary flexible. It's doable, Mrs. Bennett. We'll make sure it's doable. Jake raised his hand like a student in class. Just throwing this out there, what if some of us went with them? Not to intrude, but for support. Help with driving, carrying things, making sure everything goes smoothly. We could make it like an Iron Rider's escort, show Tyler what brotherhood really means. Several heads nodded enthusiastically at this suggestion. I don't want to impose, Jennifer started, but Danny cut her off. You're not imposing, we're offering. There's a difference, think about it. But right now, let's focus on the fundraiser. Christine, can you head up the organizing committee? Christine nodded. Absolutely. Amanda, work with me on publicity. Margaret, you handle business sponsorships. Derek, get that fund established ASAP. Everyone else, start spreading the word. We ride for the Bennett family in 2 weeks, Saturday, October 28th. The route will be from here through the county loop, about 60 miles, ending at Riverside Park for a festival. Food, music, raffle prizes, the whole deal. I'll contact other clubs, Vinny added. The Steel Wolves in Anderson, the Road Kings in Marion. They'll want to participate. This is the kind of thing that brings the whole riding community together. Tyler tugged on his mother's sleeve. Mom, is this really happening? Are they really going to help us? Jennifer looked at her son, then at the faces around the room, these strangers who'd become allies in less than an hour. I think they are, sweetheart. I think they really are. Danny crouched down in front of Tyler's wagon. Tyler, this stuff is yours, all of it. We don't need it and we don't want it. What we want is for you to keep being the brave, selfless kid who walked up to us today. Can you do that? Tyler nodded vigorously, relief flooding his features. Good. Danny stood and addressed the room again. All right, Iron Riders, we've got work to do. Mrs. Bennett, Tyler, we'll be in touch daily with updates. For now, go home, rest, and let us handle this. You've been carrying this burden alone for too long. It's time to let someone else share the weight. As Jennifer and Tyler prepared to leave, Danny offered to drive them home in his truck, while Christine followed on her bike to bring him back. Tyler turned at the door and looked back at the assembled bikers. Thank you, he said, his voice small but sincere. Thank you for not laughing at me. Thank you for listening. Danny put a hand on the boy's shoulder. Thank you for reminding us why we do this. Come on, let's get you two home. As the door closed behind them, the remaining Iron Riders looked at each other, a sense of purpose settling over the group. 2 weeks, Christine said. We've done impossible things before, but this is going to be tight. Then we'd better get started, Vinny replied, cracking his knuckles. We've got a family to help and a kid's faith to live up to. The Iron Riders dispersed, each member heading off to tackle their assigned tasks, united in their mission to prove that sometimes, when a desperate boy makes a shocking request, the answer can be equally shocking, in the best possible way. The news spread through Millbrook like wildfire. Within 24 hours of the Iron Riders' decision to help the Bennett family, Amanda Rodriguez had secured a spot on the morning show of WMIL, the local radio station. She sat across from host Brian Cooper, her tattooed arms visible beneath her short-sleeved shirt, her expression passionate as she told Tyler's story. So let me get this straight, Brian said, leaning into his microphone. A 9-year-old boy approached your motorcycle club and offered everything he owned to help his dying mother. That's exactly right, Amanda confirmed. Tyler Bennett is one of the bravest kids I've ever met. His mother, Jennifer, has stage 4 pancreatic cancer. They're drowning in medical bills, and Tyler heard his mom talk about wanting to take one last trip with him before time runs out. So he gathered up his PlayStation, his bicycle, his father's watch, everything of value he owned, and asked us if we'd sell it to fund the trip. And what did the Iron Riders do? We decided to do better than that. On Saturday, October 28th, we're organizing a charity motorcycle ride and festival to raise funds for the Bennett family. Entry fee is $30 per rider, and we're accepting donations from anyone who wants to help. 100% of the proceeds will go to the family's medical expenses and to making Jennifer's dream trip a reality. Brian shook his head in amazement. That's incredible. Where can people sign up or donate? Amanda provided the details, the route information, the bank account Derek had established, the festival at Riverside Park that would feature local food vendors, live music, and a raffle with prizes donated by local businesses. I've been doing radio in this town for 15 years, Brian said, as they wrapped up the interview. This is one of the most moving stories I've heard. Millbrook, let's show the Bennett family what our community is made of. Get out there, sign up to ride, and if you can't ride, donate. Every dollar counts. The response was immediate and overwhelming. By noon, Derek Williams called an emergency meeting at the bank. The donation account had received over $3,000, and the phones were ringing off the hook with people wanting to help. Local businesses were reaching out to offer sponsorships, vendors were volunteering their services for free at the festival, and riders from 3 neighboring counties were registering for the event. This is bigger than we anticipated, Derek told Danny and Christine, who'd come to the bank to review the account details. We're going to need more infrastructure, more volunteers, better organization, maybe even permits from the city if the festival is going to be this large. I'll handle the permits, Danny said, already pulling out his phone. I know people at City Hall. Christine, can you coordinate volunteers? Already on it, Christine replied, scrolling through messages on her own phone. Margaret has 20 people signed up to help with the festival. We'll need them for setup, running booths, managing the raffle and cleanup. Amanda's coordinating with the newspaper. They want to run a front-page story tomorrow. The newspaper article, written by veteran journalist Patricia Clemens, appeared on Wednesday morning with the headline, "Local Boy's Shocking Request Sparks Community Movement." It featured a photo of Tyler, taken with Jennifer's permission, sitting on his bicycle, and it told the story in detail. Patricia had interviewed Jennifer, Danny, and several other Iron Riders, painting a portrait of a community coming together in a remarkable display of compassion. The article also mentioned specific needs. The family's mounting medical bills totaling over $80,000, the cost of the trip estimated at around $5,000, and the ongoing daily expenses that Jennifer struggled to cover while working reduced hours due to her illness. By Thursday, the story had been picked up by regional news outlets. A television crew from Indianapolis drove to Millbrook to film a segment. They interviewed Tyler at his home, a small, neat house on Elm Street that showed signs of financial strain, but also of Jennifer's determination to maintain a stable environment for her son. The reporter, a woman named Sandra Mitchell, knelt down to Tyler's level. "Tyler, how do you feel about all the attention your story is getting?" Tyler, shy in front of the camera, thought carefully before answering. "I'm really grateful. I just wanted to help my mom. I didn't think so many people would care. Your mother is very proud of you. Do you know that?" Tyler nodded, glancing at Jennifer, who stood off camera, tears in her eyes. "She tells me every day, but I'm proud of her too. She's the strongest person I know. The segment aired on the evening news, and the response was seismic. The donation account swelled by another $8,000 overnight. The Iron Rider's phone tree was buzzing constantly with offers of help, requests for more information, and messages of support from people who'd been touched by the story. At Henderson's Diner, Jennifer found herself at the center of an outpouring of community support that left her emotionally overwhelmed. Regular customers who'd known her for years but had never heard about her illness approached her with hugs, words of encouragement, and sometimes cash pressed into her hands despite her protests. "You've been serving this community for 8 years, Jenny," said Harold Peterson, a retired teacher who came in every morning for coffee and eggs. "Let us serve you for a change." Dorothy Martinez, who owned the flower shop next door, brought in a beautiful arrangement with a card signed by 24 local business owners. "You're not alone in this," she told Jennifer. "None of us are. That's what community means." But not everyone was supportive. On Friday afternoon, Jennifer received a phone call at work from a woman who identified herself as Karen Whitmore, a concerned citizen. "I saw the news story about you and your son," Karen said, her tone sharp and accusatory. "I think it's absolutely shameful that you're using your illness to guilt people into giving you money." Jennifer, stunned, almost dropped the phone. "Excuse me? You heard me. All this sob story nonsense, sending your child to beg from bikers, letting them exploit your situation for publicity. It's disgraceful. There are people with real problems who could use that money." "My problems are real," Jennifer said quietly, her hand shaking. "I'm dying, Ms. Whitmore. I'm trying to make sure my son has some happy memories before I'm gone. I never asked for any of this attention." "Well, you're getting it anyway, aren't you? And I'm sure you're just loving every minute of it." The call ended, and Jennifer stood in the diner's back office, fighting back tears. She'd known there might be cynics, people who questioned the authenticity of her situation or the motives of those helping her. But hearing it directly, hearing someone accuse her of exploitation when she was simply trying to survive, it cut deep. Margaret Chen found her there 10 minutes later, composed but pale. "What happened?" Margaret asked immediately. Jennifer recounted the conversation, and Margaret's expression darkened. "Some people are miserable and want everyone else to be miserable too. Ignore her, Jenny. For every one person like that, there are hundreds who genuinely want to help. Don't let one bitter voice drown out all the others." "I know, it's just, I never wanted to be a charity case. I never wanted people to pity me." "This isn't pity," Margaret said firmly. "This is community. This is people recognizing that you and Tyler matter, that your story matters, and that they have the power to make a difference. Let them have that. Let them feel like they're part of something good." Jennifer nodded slowly, taking a deep breath and straightening her shoulders. "You're right. Thank you, Margaret." By Friday evening, the Iron Riders gathered at their clubhouse for a progress meeting. The atmosphere was electric with excitement and purpose. Danny stood at the front of the room with a clipboard, marking off items as they were discussed. "Okay, where are we?" "Christine volunteers." 53 confirmed for Saturday, Christine reported. "We've got teams assigned to registration, festival booths, raffle ticket sales, food service, and cleanup. Everyone knows their roles. We're also expecting at least 200 riders registered so far, with more coming in every hour." "Permits and logistics?" Danny looked at Thomas. "All squared away," Thomas confirmed. "The city fast-tracked our permits given the charitable nature of the event. Police department is providing traffic control along the route and at the park. Fire department is doing a safety inspection of the festival grounds tomorrow morning. We're good to go." "Sponsorships?" This question was directed at Margaret. "Beyond our wildest expectations," Margaret said, consulting her own notes. "We have 25 business sponsors who've contributed cash donations ranging from $200 to $2,000. Henderson's Diner is donating all the food for the festival. They want to support Jenny and Tyler directly. Riverside Music Store is providing the sound system and live entertainment for free. The prizes for the raffle include everything from restaurant gift certificates to a donated television, lawn equipment, and even a weekend getaway package at a bed and breakfast in Brown County. Medical support? Danny asked Helen. The nurse stepped forward. I've connected Jennifer with the hospital's financial assistance program. They're reviewing her account for any possible billing errors or applicable assistance. I've also arranged for a consultation with a palliative care specialist who works on a sliding scale. And I've put together a medical kit for the trip. Pain medication, anti-nausea meds, first aid supplies, everything she might need. And the trip itself? Vinny raised his hand. Jake and I have been planning the route. 3 days, 2 nights. Day 1, we leave Millbrook early morning and head to Indiana Dunes. We've booked 2 rooms at a modest but nice hotel near the park. One for Jenny and Tyler, one for whoever escorts them. Day 2, we visit the dunes, have a beach picnic, and share stories. Day 3, we head to Chicago. We've got a list of the places Jenny mentioned: the Art Institute, Navy Pier, Lou Malnati's for deep dish pizza. We come back the following evening. Total estimated cost with food, lodging, gas and activities, $4,500. Who's going as escort? Danny asked. Several hands went up. Ultimately, it was decided that Danny, Christine and Vinny would accompany the Bennetts on the trip, providing support while also giving the family space for private moments. All right, Danny said, satisfaction in his voice. We're ready. Tomorrow we show this town, hell, we show the whole region what the Iron Riders are really about. We ride for Tyler Bennett. We ride for his mother. We ride because that's what family does. And we're all family when it matters. The room erupted in agreement, fists pounding on tables, voices raised in unity. Later that evening, Danny drove to the Bennett house to deliver the final details and to check on how Jennifer and Tyler were holding up. He found them in their small living room, Jennifer resting on the couch with a blanket over her lap, while Tyler did homework at the coffee table. Mr. Morrison, Jennifer said, starting to rise, but Danny waved her back down. Please, call me Danny, and stay comfortable. I just wanted to stop by and see how you two were doing with all the attention. It's been overwhelming, Jennifer admitted. Good, mostly. Some people have been less kind, but I'm trying to focus on the positive. Danny nodded. I heard about the phone call. I'm sorry. Unfortunately, there's always someone who has to rain on the parade. But for what it's worth, the community response has been incredible. Tomorrow's event is going to be bigger than anything we've done before. Tyler looked up from his math problems. How many people are coming? Last count, over 200 riders registered, and we're expecting maybe 500 people at the festival. All for you and your mom. Tyler's eyes went wide. That many? That many, Danny confirmed. Tyler, do you understand what you started? By being brave enough to ask for help, you've given this entire community a chance to be part of something meaningful. People feel good when they help others. You gave them that gift. I just wanted to help my mom, Tyler said simply. I know, and you did. More than you could possibly imagine. Danny turned to Jennifer. Mrs. Bennett, Jenny, I know this is hard for you. Accepting help, being vulnerable, having your private situation become public. But I want you to know that every single person involved in this is doing it because they want to, not out of pity or obligation. Your story reminded people of what matters: family, love, making the most of the time we have. Those are powerful things. Jennifer wiped at her eyes. I don't know how I'll ever repay all of this. You don't have to repay anything. Just make those memories with your son. Take that trip. Enjoy every moment. That's all anyone wants. As Danny left the Bennett home and rode his motorcycle back through the quiet streets of Millbrook, he thought about the journey that had led him here. His own struggles with PTSD after returning from Iraq, the way the Iron Riders had saved him from a dark spiral, the sense of purpose he'd found in helping others. Tyler Bennett had walked into his life less than a week ago, and in doing so, had reminded him exactly why he'd started this club in the first place. Tomorrow they would ride, and in riding they would prove that sometimes the most shocking thing isn't the request, it's the response. Saturday, October 28th, dawned cold and clear over Millbrook, Indiana. The sun rose in a sky painted with streaks of orange and pink, promising good weather for the charity ride. By 7 in the morning, motorcycles were already gathering in the parking lot of Riverside Park, their riders bundled in leather jackets against the autumn chill. Tyler Bennett stood with his mother at the edge of the parking lot, both of them wrapped in warm coats, watching in awe as the lot filled with bikes. There were sleek sport bikes and massive touring bikes, vintage choppers and modern cruisers, all gleaming in the early morning light. But more impressive than the machines were the people, riders of every age, background and style, all united by a common purpose. "I can't believe this is for us," Jennifer whispered, her voice thick with emotion. Danny approached, wearing his Iron Rider's vest over a heavy jacket, a helmet tucked under one arm. "Morning, Bennett family. Ready for this?" "I don't think we'll ever be fully ready," Jennifer admitted, "but we're grateful, so grateful. Come on, I want you to meet some people." Danny led them through the growing crowd, making introductions. There was Carlos Hernandez from the Steel Wolves Motorcycle Club in Anderson, who'd brought 30 riders from his chapter. There was Diane Sheffield, president of the Road Kings in Marion, whose club had contributed another 40 riders. There were solo riders who'd heard about the event through social media, families who'd come to participate in the festival, and local residents who'd shown up to show their support. Christine Walker appeared with a bright smile and 2 official event t-shirts. "For you and Tyler," she said, handing them to Jennifer. The shirts were black with white lettering that read, "Ride for the Bennetts, Millbrook Strong, October 28th, 2025. "We made 300 of these," Christine explained. "They sold out in 2 days, had to order another 200. The profit from the sales goes straight to your fund." Tyler pulled his shirt on over his jacket, beaming with pride. Jennifer did the same, her hands shaking slightly, whether from emotion or her illness, Danny couldn't tell. By 8 o'clock, the parking lot was packed. Thomas, armed with a megaphone, was directing riders into formation. The route would take them through Millbrook's Main Street, then out into the county roads, making a 60-mile loop through scenic autumn countryside before returning to Riverside Park for the festival. Danny climbed onto a small platform that had been set up for announcements. The crowd quieted as he raised his hand. "Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here." His voice boomed across the parking lot. "Today, we ride for a very special reason. About a week ago, a 9-year-old boy named Tyler Bennett did something extraordinary. He approached my club and asked for help, not for himself, but for his mother, Jennifer, who is battling terminal cancer. Tyler was willing to give up everything he owned to make his mother's last wish come true, to take one final trip together and create lasting memories." The crowd was silent, attentive. Tyler's courage inspired us to action, and your presence here today proves that one person, even a child, can make a difference. Every registration fee, every donation, every dollar raised goes directly to the Bennett family to help with medical expenses and to fund the trip that Jennifer dreams of taking with her son. This is what community looks like. This is what compassion looks like. This is what we're capable of when we come together. Applause erupted, growing louder until it was nearly deafening. Tyler, standing next to his mother, felt his face flush with embarrassment and pride. Danny continued, "Jennifer and Tyler are here today, and I'd like to invite them up to say a few words." Jennifer's eyes went wide. I didn't prepare anything." "Just speak from the heart," Christine encouraged gently. "They're all here for you." With Tyler's hand in hers, Jennifer made her way to the platform. Danny helped them up, and suddenly they were facing a sea of people, hundreds of faces, all looking at them with kindness and expectation. Jennifer took a shaky breath and leaned toward the microphone. I don't really know what to say. A week ago, I was a single mother working double shifts and trying to figure out how to pay my medical bills. I was scared, I was tired, and I was trying to hide all of that from my son because I didn't want him to worry. But Tyler knew anyway. He always knows. She looked down at her son, squeezing his hand. When Danny called me and told me what Tyler had done, that he'd approached a group of strangers and offered them everything he owned, I didn't know whether to be proud or terrified. But then I met the Iron Riders, and I realized that Tyler had found something I'd lost. He'd found hope. He'd found people who still believe in helping others, who still believe that we're stronger together than apart. Her voice cracked, and she paused to compose herself. The crowd waited patiently, supportively. I'm not going to be here forever. That's the reality I'm living with every day. But because of all of you, because of your generosity and compassion, I'm going to have something precious. I'm going to have time with my son, quality time. Happy memories that will last him long after I'm gone. You're giving me the greatest gift anyone could ask for. You're giving me the chance to be a mom, fully and completely, without the weight of fear crushing me. So thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. There wasn't a dry eye in the parking lot. Even seasoned bikers who'd seen and done it all found themselves wiping at their faces, moved by Jennifer's words. Tyler took the microphone next, his voice small but clear. I just want to say, thank you for not laughing at me. Thank you for listening when I asked for help. You're all really cool, and I think motorcycles are awesome now. And he paused, searching for the right words. And I think my dad would have liked you guys. He always said that the measure of a person is what they do when nobody's watching. You're all good people. The applause that followed was thunderous. Riders revved their engines in approval, the sound rolling across the park like controlled thunder. As Jennifer and Tyler stepped down from the platform, they were immediately surrounded by well-wishers, offering hugs, handshakes, and words of encouragement. A woman in her 60s approached Jennifer with tears streaming down her face. I lost my daughter to cancer 3 years ago, she said. She left behind a 10-year-old son. I wish we'd had a community like this when she needed it. I'm riding today in her memory and for your future. God bless you both. At 8:30, the riders mounted their motorcycles. Jennifer and Tyler were given seats in a support vehicle, a pickup truck driven by Margaret Chen that would follow the route and be available if Jennifer needed rest or medical assistance. But Danny had also arranged for Tyler to ride briefly on the back of his motorcycle during a safe stretch of road, a gift to the boy who'd shown such courage. Thomas, still wielding the megaphone, gave the signal. Riders, start your engines. The parking lot erupted with the roar of over 200 motorcycles coming to life simultaneously. The sound was visceral, powerful, a collective heartbeat of machines and riders united in purpose. Let's ride! The motorcycles rolled out in formation, a long, winding procession of chrome and leather. They made their way onto Main Street, where residents had lined the sidewalks to watch. People waved, held up signs of support, and cheered as the riders passed. Local news cameras captured the scene. The sheer scale of the event, the diversity of participants, the visible emotion on faces both in the parade and on the sidelines. Tyler watched from the pickup truck, his face pressed against the window, taking in every detail. He'd never seen anything like this massive show of solidarity, all because he'd asked for help. It was overwhelming and humbling and exhilarating all at once. They passed Henderson's Diner, where Jennifer's co-workers had gathered outside with a banner that read, "We love you, Jenny." Jennifer broke down, crying at the sight, and Margaret reached over to squeeze her hand. "Let it out," Margaret said gently. You've been strong for so long. It's okay to let yourself feel this. The route took them out of town and into the countryside, where the autumn foliage was at its peak. Trees blazed with reds, oranges and golds, creating a tunnel of color that the motorcycles streamed through. The sky remained clear and bright, the temperature rising just enough to be comfortable. It was, everyone agreed, a perfect day for a ride. At the halfway point, the procession stopped at a rest area where volunteers had set up refreshment stations. Riders dismounted, stretched their legs, grabbed coffee and snacks, and mingled. Tyler finally got his chance. Danny brought his motorcycle over and helped the boy climb on behind him. "You ready for this?" Danny asked, looking back at Tyler with a grin. "Yes, sir." Tyler's excitement was palpable. "Hold on tight. We're just going down this stretch and back, nice and easy. Your mom's watching, so I'm going to be extra careful." True to his word, Danny kept the speed modest and the ride smooth. But for Tyler, it was the thrill of a lifetime. The rumble of the engine beneath him, the wind in his face, the sense of freedom and power. He understood in that moment why these people loved riding so much. It wasn't just about the machine, it was about the experience, the connection to the road, the world, and each other. When they returned to where Jennifer was waiting, Tyler was grinning from ear to ear. "Mom, that was amazing. Did you see?" "I saw, baby. You looked so brave up there. Can I learn to ride motorcycles when I'm older?" Jennifer laughed through her tears. "We'll see. Let's get through this day first." The riders remounted and completed the second half of the route, arriving back at Riverside Park to find the festival in full swing. Volunteers had transformed the park into a vibrant celebration. Food vendors lined the paths, filling the air with the scents of grilled food, fresh popcorn, and baked goods. A stage had been set up where a local band was playing upbeat rock music. Children ran between booths, their laughter adding to the festive atmosphere. Tables displayed raffle prizes, and a long line of people waited to purchase tickets. Derek Williams stood at the donation booth, coordinating with volunteers as cash and checks continued to pour in. Every few minutes, he updated the large thermometer-style display board that showed the running total. It had started at zero that morning. Now it read $42,000 and climbing. Jennifer sat at a picnic table in the shade, Tyler beside her, watching the celebration that had been created in their honor. Strangers approached constantly, some to offer words of encouragement, others to share their own stories of loss and survival. Still others simply to shake her hand and tell her they were praying for her family. A young woman, probably in her late 20s, approached hesitantly. "Mrs. Bennett? I'm Rebecca." "No, sorry, I'm Ashley Morrison, Danny's niece. I wanted to meet you." Jennifer shook her hand warmly. "It's nice to meet you, Ashley. Your uncle is an incredible person." "He is, but I wanted to tell you something. When Uncle Danny came back from Iraq, he was lost, really lost. He had nightmares, couldn't hold down a job, pushed everyone away. The Iron Riders saved his life. They gave him purpose, family, a reason to keep going. And now, by letting him help you, you're giving him that same gift. You're reminding him why he does this. So thank you for that." The perspective shifted something in Jennifer's understanding. She'd been so focused on what she was receiving that she hadn't fully considered what she might be giving in return. The opportunity for others to live out their values, to make a difference, to feel connected to something larger than themselves. As the afternoon wore on, the festival reached its peak. The raffle drawing began, with Christine calling out winning ticket numbers and presenting prizes to cheering winners. The band played classic rock covers that had people dancing near the stage. Children's faces were painted with colorful designs, and a local ice cream truck gave out free cones to anyone under 12. At 4 o'clock, Danny took the stage again for the final announcement of the day. "All right, everyone, Can I have your attention?" The crowd quieted, turning toward the stage. "First, I want to thank every single person who participated today. The riders who registered, the volunteers who made this festival possible, the businesses who sponsored us, and everyone who donated. You've shown what this community is capable of." He paused, looking at Derek, who gave him a thumbs up. "I'm pleased to announce that today's event has raised a total of $58,473 for the Bennett family." The crowd erupted in applause and cheers. Jennifer's hands flew to her mouth, her eyes wide with disbelief. Tyler jumped up and down with excitement. "That's not all," Danny continued, holding up a hand for quiet. "Several anonymous donors have come forward with additional contributions. When combined with funds already in the account from earlier in the week, the total amount raised for the Bennett family is..." He paused for dramatic effect. $76,912. The noise was deafening. People were crying, hugging, celebrating. Jennifer stood on shaking legs, Tyler's hand in hers, completely overwhelmed by the magnitude of what had just been announced. "Jennifer, Tyler, could you please come up here?" They made their way to the stage once more, both of them visibly emotional. Danny put his arm around Jennifer's shoulders supportively. "This money is yours," he said, speaking to them but also to the crowd. "It's to help with medical bills, to ease the financial burden you've been carrying, and to fund the trip you've dreamed of taking. Helen Foster has also arranged for additional medical support and financial assistance through the hospital. You're not going to have to face this alone anymore." Jennifer tried to speak, but couldn't find words. Finally, she managed, How does anyone say thank you for something like this?" "You already have," Danny replied, "by accepting it, by letting us help. That takes its own kind of courage." Tyler took the microphone, his voice stronger than before. "We're going to take that trip. We're going to make the best memories ever. And I'm going to remember all of you for the rest of my life. I'm going to remember that when things got really hard, people showed up. Thank you for showing up." As the festival wound down and the sun began to set, casting long shadows across Riverside Park, the Iron Riders gathered one last time with the Bennett family. They stood in a circle, Danny, Christine, Vinny, Jake, Robert, Margaret, Thomas, Helen, Amanda, and a dozen others, surrounding Jennifer and Tyler like a protective barrier against the hardships the world had thrown at them. "The trip is scheduled for next weekend," Danny said, "November 4th through 6th. Vinny, Christine, and I will ride with you. We'll take care of everything. All you need to do is pack and show up." "I don't know how I'll ever," Jennifer began, but Danny gently cut her off. "You don't have to know. Just live, Jenny. Live fully in every moment you have left. That's all any of us can do." As the Bennett family finally headed home that evening, exhausted but filled with hope, Tyler looked up at his mother. "Mom, today was the best day ever." Jennifer pulled him close, kissing the top of his head. "It really was, sweetheart, it really was." The morning of November 4th arrived with a light drizzle that cleared by the time the sun rose fully over Millbrook. Jennifer Bennett stood in front of her bathroom mirror, taking stock of herself. The cancer had taken its toll. She'd lost weight. Her complexion was paler than it used to be, and there were dark circles under her eyes that no amount of makeup could hide. But there was also something new in her reflection: hope. She'd spent the previous week preparing for the trip with a mixture of excitement and anxiety. Dr. Walsh had given her blessing for the journey, adjusting medications and providing detailed instructions for managing pain and fatigue. Helen Foster had assembled a comprehensive medical kit and programmed her phone with emergency contacts, including hospitals along their route. The money from the fundraiser had allowed Jennifer to cut back her hours at the diner without worrying about immediate bills, a luxury she hadn't experienced in years. Tyler appeared in the bathroom doorway, already dressed in his favorite jeans and the Ride for the Bennett's t-shirt from the charity event. His small backpack was stuffed with activities for the drive: books, a handheld gaming device, and the journal Jennifer had bought him to document their adventure. "Ready, Mum?" "Almost, baby. Give me 5 more minutes." They'd packed light, just enough clothes for 3 days, toiletries, medications, and the old photo album that contained pictures of David Bennett. Jennifer wanted Tyler to see his father's face while she told stories at the places where those stories had happened. At 8 o'clock, 3 motorcycles pulled up outside their house. Danny, Christine, and Vinny had arrived, but they'd also brought Danny's pickup truck, which would provide more comfortable transportation for Jennifer given her health situation. The motorcycles would follow, ready to be used for parts of the journey where Jennifer felt strong enough to ride as a passenger or simply to give Tyler more experiences. "Morning, Bennett family," Christine called out cheerfully. "Beautiful day for a road trip." They loaded the luggage into the truck bed, and Jennifer took a long look at her little house on Elm Street. She'd lived here for 7 years, had brought Tyler home from the hospital to this house, had buried her husband while living in this house, and had received her diagnosis in the living room that she could see through the window. So many memories, both beautiful and painful. "You okay?" Danny asked quietly, noticing her hesitation. "Just taking it in. I don't know if I'll ever see it again." "Then we'll make sure you see plenty of other beautiful things on this trip." The drive to Indiana Dunes took about 3 hours. Jennifer sat in the passenger seat while Tyler sat in back between Christine and Vinny, who entertained him with stories from their riding adventures, carefully edited to be age-appropriate. Danny drove with steady confidence, the motorcycles ridden by Jake and Robert following behind for additional support. As they crossed into the Indiana Dunes National Park, Jennifer sat up straighter, her eyes scanning the landscape with recognition and longing. The massive sand dunes rose against the horizon, backed by the endless blue expanse of Lake Michigan. The beach grass swayed in the November wind, and despite the cool temperature, the scene was breathtaking. "It hasn't changed," Jennifer whispered. "It's exactly like I remember." They checked into the hotel first, a modest but clean establishment called the Dunes View Inn. Jennifer's room had a window overlooking the lake, and she stood there for several minutes, just watching the waves roll in, remembering. After a short rest, they drove to the specific beach where David had proposed 14 years ago. Jennifer had described the location in detail, a section near West Beach where a fallen tree created a natural seat with a clear view of the Chicago skyline in the distance on clear days. It took some searching, but they found it. The tree was still there, weathered and worn, but recognizable. Jennifer approached it slowly, her fingers trailing over the bark, her eyes distant with memory. "It was September," she told Tyler, who sat beside her on the tree trunk. "Your dad and I had been dating for 2 years. We came here for a weekend camping trip. It was sunset, just like now, and the sky was this incredible orange and pink. He got down on one knee right here and asked me to marry him. I said yes before he could even finish the question." She pulled out the photo album and showed Tyler the pictures, a much younger Jennifer with long blonde hair, laughing at the camera, David beside her with his arm around her shoulders. He'd been tall and lean, with dark hair and a mischievous smile that Tyler had inherited. "You look like him," Jennifer said, touching Tyler's face. "Same smile, same kind heart. He would have been so proud of the man you're becoming." "Tell me about him," Tyler requested. "Everything you remember." And so Jennifer did. She told stories as the sun set over Lake Michigan, stories about David's terrible singing voice, his love of bad jokes, his skill at fixing anything mechanical, his devotion to his family. She told Tyler about their wedding, about the joy they'd felt when they learned they were having a baby, about the way David had cried when Tyler was born. The Iron Riders kept a respectful distance, giving the family space, while remaining close enough to help if needed. Danny snapped a few photos on his phone, Jennifer and Tyler sitting on the tree trunk, silhouetted against the sunset, creating new memories while honoring old ones. As darkness fell and the temperature dropped, they returned to the hotel. Jennifer was exhausted but happy. Over dinner at a small restaurant near the inn, she ate more than she had in weeks, her appetite rekindled by the day's emotional fulfillment. That night, after Tyler fell asleep in the bed next to hers, Jennifer stood at the window again, looking out at the dark expanse of the lake. She felt the cancer inside her, a constant presence, but for the first time in months, it wasn't the only thing she felt. She felt grateful, she felt loved, she felt, despite everything, blessed. The next day brought clearer skies and warmer temperatures. They spent the morning hiking through the dunes, moving slowly to accommodate Jennifer's limited stamina, but moving nonetheless. Tyler ran ahead, climbing dunes and sliding down them, his laughter carrying on the wind. Jennifer watched him with fierce maternal love, committing every detail to memory. Christine walked beside Jennifer while the men stayed with Tyler. "How are you feeling, really?" "Tired, in pain, but also more alive than I've felt in months. Does that make sense?" "Perfect sense. Sometimes the best moments come when we're most aware of how fragile everything is." They had a picnic lunch on the beach, sandwiches and fruit that Vinny had packed, along with thermoses of hot chocolate. Tyler collected shells and interesting stones, filling his pockets with treasures. Jennifer helped him identify different types of shells, sharing knowledge David had taught her years ago. In the afternoon, Danny arranged for something special. He'd contacted a local photographer who specialized in family portraits, explaining the situation. The photographer, a woman named Grace Turner, donated her time and met them at the beach. "I want to create something beautiful for you," Grace said gently to Jennifer, "something Tyler can keep forever." For an hour, Grace photographed Jennifer and Tyler in various poses and locations, standing in the shallow water with their shoes off, sitting on the dunes, walking hand in hand along the shoreline. She captured Tyler's joy and Jennifer's bittersweet tenderness, creating art from their love. "These will be ready before you leave Chicago," Grace promised. "I'll have them delivered to your hotel, prints and digital files, all of them." That evening they drove to Chicago, checking into a hotel in the Loop with a view of the city lights. Tyler pressed his nose against the window, amazed by the towering buildings and the constant movement of urban life. The next day was packed with activities, but paced carefully to respect Jennifer's energy levels. They started at the Art Institute of Chicago, where Jennifer and David had spent hours during their honeymoon. Jennifer showed Tyler her favorite paintings: Grant Wood's American Gothic, Edward Hopper's Nighthawks, Georges Seurat's A Sunday on La Grande Jatte. "Your father used to make up ridiculous stories about the people in the paintings," Jennifer told Tyler as they stood before Nighthawks. "He said that couple at the counter were actually secret agents waiting for a contact, and the man with his back to us was the villain of the story." Tyler giggled. "What was the contact saying?" "That the treasure was hidden under the coffee pot, but they had to wait for the waiter to leave before they could grab it." They spent 2 hours in the museum, creating new stories for the paintings, honoring David's memory through imagination and laughter. Lunch was at Lou Malnati's in Lincoln Park, the same location where Jennifer and David had discovered their mutual love of deep dish pizza. The restaurant was busy, but the staff found them a booth when Danny quietly explained the significance of the visit. "This is the best pizza I've ever had," Tyler declared through a mouthful of cheese and sauce. "Your dad said the exact same thing the first time we came here," Jennifer replied, her eyes misty. "We ordered too much and had to take half of it back to our hotel. We ate cold pizza for breakfast the next morning and thought it was the height of sophistication." After lunch, they walked to Navy Pier, despite Jennifer's obvious fatigue. She insisted, saying that the pier had been David's favorite part of Chicago. They rode the Centennial Wheel, the massive Ferris wheel that gave views of the entire city and lakefront. In their enclosed gondola, Jennifer sat between Tyler and Danny, looking out at the city where she'd once been young and carefree and healthy. "Thank you," she said to Danny, "for all of this, for making this possible." "It's our privilege," Danny replied simply. As the wheel reached its highest point, Jennifer pulled Tyler close. "I want you to remember this, Tyler, not just this trip, but what it represents. When I'm gone, and you're struggling, and you feel alone, remember that you asked for help and people showed up. Remember that kindness is real. Remember that community matters. And remember that your dad and I loved you more than anything in this world." "I'll remember, Mum. I promise." They spent the rest of the afternoon at Navy Pier, watching street performers, exploring the children's museum that was housed there, and eating caramel popcorn from a vendor. As evening approached and Jennifer's energy waned, they made their way back to the hotel. That night, Grace Turner delivered the photographs personally. Jennifer spread them out on the hotel bed, and tears flowed freely as she looked at the images. Grace had captured something profound: the love between mother and son, the joy in Tyler's expression, the peace in Jennifer's eyes despite her illness. These weren't just photographs, they were legacy, proof that they had lived and loved and mattered. "She'll have these forever," Grace said softly to Danny in the hallway. "Long after his mother is gone, he'll have these. You've given him an incredible gift. Thank you." The drive back to Millbrook the next day was quieter, reflective. Jennifer slept for part of the journey, her head resting against the window, Tyler holding her hand. When she was awake, she talked about the trip, about the memories they'd created, about how full her heart felt. As they pulled into Millbrook and Danny's truck turned onto Elm Street, Jennifer saw that her front yard was filled with people. The Iron Riders were there, along with neighbors, co-workers from the diner, teachers from Tyler's school, and dozens of others who'd been following their story. A large banner hung across the porch. "Welcome home, Bennett family." Margaret Chen stepped forward as Jennifer slowly got out of the truck. "We wanted you to know that the community is still here, still supporting you, still caring." Jennifer hugged her, then moved through the crowd, embracing people, thanking them, sharing brief highlights from the trip. Tyler showed his shell collection to anyone who would look, his enthusiasm infectious. As the welcome party wound down and people began to leave, Jennifer stood on her porch with Tyler beside her, and the Iron Riders gathered around. The November evening was cold, but she didn't want to go inside yet. She wanted to hold on to this moment just a little longer. "I don't know how much time I have left," she said quietly. "Dr. Walsh thinks maybe a few months, possibly less. But I know this. I'm not afraid anymore. You all gave me that. You gave me the chance to live instead of just survive. You gave my son memories that will last him a lifetime. You gave us both hope. That's worth more than any amount of money." Danny stepped forward and took her hand. "We'll be here, Jenny, for whatever comes next. For Tyler, always. You have our word." "I know." And that knowledge, it lets me breathe easier. It lets me rest, knowing Tyler won't be alone. 3 months later, on a cold February morning, Jennifer Bennett passed away peacefully in her sleep. Tyler had spent the night before curled up beside her, telling her about his day at school, about the science project he was working on, about the things he wanted to be when he grew up. She'd listened, stroked his hair, and told him one more time how proud she was of him and how much she loved him. The funeral was held at Millbrook Community Church, and the building couldn't hold everyone who came. Iron Riders from 5 different clubs attended, along with what seemed like the entire town. People shared stories of Jennifer's kindness, her strength, her grace under impossible circumstances. Tyler, dressed in a suit that Danny had helped him pick out, stood at the front of the church and spoke in a clear, strong voice. "My mum was the best person I ever knew. She worked hard, loved deeply, and never gave up, even when things were really scary. In her last months, she got to be happy again because of all of you. You gave her the greatest gift. You gave her peace. I'm sad she's gone, but I'm grateful for the time we had and the memories we made. Thank you for that. Thank you for showing up when we needed you most. After the service, as Jennifer was laid to rest next to David in Millbrook Cemetery, Danny Morrison put his hand on Tyler's shoulder. You've got a place with us, Tyler, for as long as you need. Your mom set up arrangements. You'll stay with your aunt in Indianapolis, but you're also part of the Iron Riders family now. We'll check on you, support you, make sure you have what you need. You're not alone. Tyler looked up at the man who'd responded to a desperate boy's shocking request with compassion instead of dismissal. I know, he said. My mom told me. She said I'd always have family as long as the Iron Riders were around. She was right. And Tyler, Danny crouched down to eye level. What you did, approaching us that day, asking for help, that changed things. Not just for your family, but for all of us. You reminded us of our purpose. You brought this community together. That's powerful. Never underestimate the impact one person can have. Tyler nodded, tears streaming down his face, but his expression was resolute. I'm going to make her proud. I'm going to remember everything she taught me. And someday, when I'm older, I'm going to help people the way you helped us. I believe you will. And when that day comes, the Iron Riders will be there to support you. As the mourners dispersed and Tyler left with his aunt, the Iron Riders stood together in the cemetery, a brotherhood forged through shared purpose and compassion. They'd started with a boy's shocking request and responded with action that had rippled through an entire community. Jennifer Bennett's story and Tyler's courage would be told in Millbrook for years to come. It would inspire other acts of kindness, other moments of community unity, other instances of people choosing compassion over indifference. Because sometimes the most shocking thing isn't the request for help, it's the beautiful, transformative power of people who choose to answer.